right, Wall Street Journal poll over the weekend. It wasn't the headline, but when you go into it, congressional Republicans lead Democrats in every major category before the midterms. Congressional Republicans lead congressional Democrats. It's very interesting. We got Mollie Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist. Great to see you. Fox News contributor, and my favorite upstate New York Congressperson, Claudia Tenney. There she is. Ladies, thank you for this very much. I want to just read real quick. I'm going to look at the full screen. Which party best handles border security? Republicans, 48-20. Immigration, Republicans, 44-33. Rising prices, inflation, 38-32 Republicans. Economy, 38-32 Republicans. Tariffs, 36-34 Republicans. The headline on the poll was that people weren't thrilled about Trump's economy, but they still think congressional Republicans can do a better job healing it. So, Claudia, I begin with you because, I mean, I think this is very interesting, and you don't see much of this stuff out there. And, you know, with the economy booming, well, you tell me, what's the story here on the midterms?
Look, the Republicans need to talk about this. We need to get out there. We need to overcome the mainstream media that is constantly pushing the other negative. You know, yesterday I filled my car up with gas, and I didn't even realize when I looked, I said, oh, wow, I'm like at 288 or something, and that's in upstate New York. So I remember when it was $4 not too long ago. So things are getting better, and obviously the price of energy is a huge driver to the cost of goods. So, you know, as the one big beautiful bill and all those incredible items start coming into fruition, we're getting into tax season. I just was there at the groundbreaking for Micron up in nearby my district in Onondaga County. You know, this is going to be huge news for upstate New York. It's going to drive jobs, the economy, and things are going to start getting better, but we're just getting there. And by the way, things already look good. They're going to start getting really great, as Scott Bessent has projected.
Yeah, well, listen, Kudlow's got 5 to 6% growth. Can you imagine that? We haven't seen that in 40 years. Most people aren't even old enough to remember it. But Mollie Hemingway, I'm going to add to that. This whole, look, Minnesota, there's all kinds of weird things going on. People against the cops, which is just crazy. But the subject of welfare fraud and government fraud and Minnesota fraud, which is being duplicated in about 10 or 12 other states, including probably New York and California, I would think, Mollie, that's going to add to the GOP advantage.
Well, the Republicans have a lot to work with here. I mean, you highlighted some of the things from the poll. Even also that poll showed that much more than 90% of the people who voted for Trump are happy with the job that he's doing. So the Republican Party has a lot going for it. Also, they have the Democrat Party doing things like embracing anti-police, anti-law enforcement rhetoric and domestic terrorism. A lot should be done with that. But as Representative Tenney knows better than most people in Congress, Democrats are able to achieve amazing results, not because they have ideas that resonate with the American people so much as they're very good at ballot operations. They put ballots into the ballot box, and Republicans need to understand that just because voters are saying they prefer them on the border, on foreign policy, on immigration, on all of these issues, even tariffs and other things, does not mean that will not necessarily translate into votes if you don't have good ballot operations coming into the midterms.
So, Claudia, with that caveat, I mean, is the RNC on it? Is the state committees on it? I assume they're on it. I mean, I know Mollie's right. Democrats tend to be better, although GOP did okay in the last round. What do you make of it?
Look, we're pushing them to do that because when you look at this last election, which the Democrats are describing as a wipeout, oh, gee, the Democrats won in blue areas. But where they won in areas that weren't exactly blue, and even some parts of upstate New York, they actually lost blue areas. It is a very narrow margin. It was about 7% on average. So it's not a huge swing. But Mollie's right. We have to get the ballots in the box. They win on process, not on policy. We have the policy. I learned how to do this because I've been through some really tough elections. We have to get to voters. We have to get them registered, and we have to get their ballots. But it's not just our regular Republicans. It is moderate Democrats who are disgusted with many of these issues, who know the quality of life is going down, who know that the economy is looking bad under Democrats. And we have to get moderates, and we have to get independents and those people to get their votes for us. But you can't go to cocktail parties. You have to be out in the field. You have to meet people at their doors and in places where they are and make that point. And that's what we're doing with our campaign. It's why ever since 2020 in my crazy election, actually that was beautifully documented in Mollie's book, all those things, 2024 and now 2026 are going to be banner elections for the Republicans, but they have to get the ballots in the box. Mollie's 100% right.
Mollie, I know what I'm going to say. You all know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to ask you, what's the most important issue in the midterm elections? You know what I'm going to say, but economy. But what does Mollie Hemingway think? You know politics better than I do. What's the most important issue?
I trust that people are being honest when they say they're very concerned about affordability. That's both a short-term and a long-term issue and an opportunity for Republicans. Whichever party figures out a way to restore the American dream for the average American, they will benefit from that politically, and it will also benefit the country as well.
Well, can't that be? Isn't that a growth and prosperity and more take-home pay and, more jobs? I mean, the traditional metrics don't apply.
It's also about housing availability and the greater difficulties that younger generations have before they're able to kind of take a breath and sigh about their economic situation. For older generations, that happened at a younger age than it's happening now for younger people. And conservatives need to care about this, because if you don't have anything to conserve, nobody's going to care about conservatism. So we need to help people form families and build households and own their own homes and all those things, which, again, whichever political party figures that out. And the Democrats are certainly trying to make a play for this, frankly, through an open embrace of radical socialism to the point of communism. But it's sounding persuasive to some people, so Republicans need to also have a match on that.
Well, that's true, Claudia. Just last word. There's no question Mollie's right, and you got to be very careful. You got to make the sale. I just have to believe in America in 2026, Claudia Tenney, communism is not popular. I just have to. If I can't believe that, I don't know what I can't believe, or I don't know what I can believe. I mean, communism can't be popular. What's going on in New York campaign? Go ahead, Claudia. Tee off. Please tell me communism's not popular. I got to hear this.
Yeah, look, I lived in the former Yugoslavia. It was a communist country with a dictator.
Yes.
The problem is, people don't know what communism is, and we have to spell that out for them very clearly, that it leads to misery for everyone. And what we did in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act renewal and that one big beautiful bill has got all the things Mollie just talked about: tax cuts, in reinvestment in businesses, housing, all those things that people need. We have done that. We've incentivized that for the American people. It's going to happen.
All right. I'm going to send them the Cliff Notes to Das Kapital. That's the only way we're going to deal with this. You two are great. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, Mollie Hemingway, thank you so much.